Hello, second grade students. We're going to be reviewing Module 2, Lesson 1 from Into Math today. Before we begin, make sure you have your math materials and know what assignments your teacher has assigned for you to complete. To begin, please follow your teacher's directions on how to access your math materials. It may be through the Into Math site on Clever or using your student workbook. Let's go ahead and get started. Today's I can statement is, I can decide if a group of objects has an even or an odd number of objects by making pairs or counting by twos. We'll begin today by reading the Spark Your Learning question. You'll be doing this independently. Sorry about that. There we go. I'll read this aloud. Jimmy helps pass out supplies for 3 art centers. He has 6 paintbrushes. How can he put the same number of paintbrushes at each art center? Now it's your job to solve your Spark Your Learning question on your own. Please pause the video and work on that now. All right, nice work. Welcome back. We'll be doing the build understanding question now. Jordan and her friends counted the buttons on their jackets. There are 8 buttons on Jordan's jacket. Is 8 an even or an odd number? Let's work through this together. Remember, there are 8 buttons on Jordan's jacket. Draw to show how you can make pairs with the buttons on her jacket. So I'm going to use circles to represent the buttons on her jacket. I know they said there was 8, so I'm going to get 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And to determine if it's an even or an odd number, I'm going to put the buttons in pairs. Pairs means groups of 2. So I have 2, 4, 6, and 8. I see that there are 4 groups of 2 with no odd button left out. So there are equal groups of 2. Remember, you drew to show how to make pairs with the 8 buttons on Jordan's jacket. Use the arrow to see a possible drawing. So their drawing looks just a little bit different than mine, but in the same way, they use circles to represent the buttons, and they put them into groups of 2, showing that the buttons could be split up into 4 groups of 2. Let's connect to our vocabulary for this week. Even numbers show pairs with no objects left over. Odd numbers show pairs with 1 object left over. So remember, our vocabulary today is even and odd. Were there any objects left over when you made pairs with the 8 buttons? I'm going to go back and check that drawing. So was there any objects left over? Well, it looks like they were all grouped into pairs with none left over. So I'm going to answer no. Each of the 8 buttons is in a pair, so no buttons are left over. Is 8 an odd number or an even number? Remember, back to our vocabulary, based off of the definition for even and odd, 8 would be an even number. 8 is an even number because there are no counters left over after making the pairs. Let's think through this question. What if there were 9 buttons on Jordan's jacket? Is 9 an even or an odd number? Explain. Well, if I had 9 buttons on Jordan's jacket, I would still have the 4 pairs of buttons, so those 4 sets of 2, and then there would be 1 left over. And the definition of an odd number is having 1 left over. So that means 9 is an odd number. All right, we worked through one build understanding. Now you are going to go off and do your independent work that your teacher has assigned to you. They may have requested that you complete some activities on Into Math site via Clever or to continue in your workbook. Make sure to complete all of your work and share that with your teacher in whatever way they have requested. Thank you so much for listening and following along. I'll see you again soon.